welcome back. Rip Current Media here, where we chat and review tech-related things. Today's video is going to be our first tech-related video. It's going to be about the Mavic 2 Pro drone and why I chose this to learn and to use for this future YouTube adventure. Please throw me a like at the end of this video. If anything is entertaining or of value to you, please also click that subscribe button to continue to follow me through this journey on YouTube and through all this tech-related stuff. Today's video is going to be about my current drone choice and why. Mavic 2, I choose you! I'm going to be using the Mavic 2 Pro to do aerial photography, videography, and even just recreational flying. I'm going to talk a little bit about why I chose this and a little bit about the actual drone itself. Before I start specifically talking about only the Mavic 2 Pro, I just want to talk a little bit briefly about the drones I've had in the past. Everything I've had in the past was used just recreationally. I did not use them for photos or videos. It was mostly just flying. But I did have the Mavic 1 Pro, I had the Mavic 2 Pro, when it very first came out I had the Mavic 2 Zoom, and I also had the Phantom 4 Pro, okay? Currently, obviously I have the Mavic 2 Pro, and I also do have an Inspire 1 Pro. I plan on going into a little versus video later on here, probably sooner than later, about why I chose the Mavic 2 Pro over the Inspire 1 Pro. But I plan on doing another whole video on which one's better, which one's worse, the pros and cons between the two of those. Plenty of other videos out there that are super nerdy as far as the specs of this drone. They have the down to the electronics within it and all that kind of crazy stuff. I'm not going to go into that much of detail here, but there are a few things about this drone I prefer, really attributed to the reason why I picked this drone. So the two main things here, the two biggest parts of this drone that I say is why I am going to use it and I fell in love with it so quickly. One is the camera. It's a 1-inch CMOS Hasselblad f2.8 camera. It's a great camera. It shoots photos in JPEG and RAW, video 4K in 24, 25, 30 FPS, 2.7K in 24, 25, 30, 48, 50, and even 60 FPS, and then Full HD, which is 1080. It does all of the same before, but it includes even up to 120 FPS, so you can get some great slow-mo and Full HD out of it. It's got, you know, that camera is 10-bit color. That's why I really want to stick with it. It's got a great dynamic range. Hopefully we'll be able to pull some good color out of that footage that we got. I did do some test footage yesterday. It was extremely windy and freezing outside, but it was the first sunny day, so I went outside, took some test footage. We're going to go through that here in just a moment. The second biggest thing other than the camera though is the size and physical capabilities of this drone. I mean, this thing, even unfolded, is tiny compared to my Inspire 1 Pro. I mean, it's tiny. Folded up, it fits anywhere. It fits in my camera bag, it fits in my old camera bag, it fits in any bag really. The Inspire, that takes crates, that takes GPC cases, that takes the back of my truck. The takeoff weight of this thing is just under 2 pounds. It's like literally 1.99 pounds or something. Top speed's over 45 miles an hour, a little bit more with the wind, a little bit less against the wind. Big thing though also that is part of the size and physical capabilities of this thing is the battery life. I mean, it will do pretty close to 30 minutes on one battery, which is huge compared to the Inspire 1 Pro, which I use with the X5. I'm getting 12 minutes of usable time on a battery, which is, it's really hard to do. I mean, that thing is big. You got to land it, you got to replace the battery back and forth. To do that literally half the time with this, to have even the same comparable camera or close, I mean, that's the main reasons why I chose this. Small other things, excuse me, is the Inspire 1 doesn't have obstacle avoidance. This does. It has 360 top and bottom. It's pretty good, and that's good. I mean, that's a great thing. This also has OcuSync 2.0, which means it works better with the radio transmissions at a further distance, including the video transmissions. It doesn't rely on Wi-Fi, which is huge, and it's better than obviously OcuSync 1.0. So, big thing. Also, price point. So, real quick, price point on this. I think you can get this right off DJI's website for $15.99 with the Fly More kit, which I think is 2 or 3 additional batteries and propellers and bag and all that. It's another what is it, 400 bucks, so $2,000 out the door. You get this drone with the remote and 4 batteries, I believe. I mean, it's a good deal. $2,000 for what this is, great deal. I think my Inspire 1 setup for everything I've got, including all the bajillion batteries and everything, was pretty close to 10 grand or so. So for the price, that's also where we're at too. Yesterday we had, like I said, our first bit of sunshine that we've had in almost 10 days, and obviously I've been locked up in the house quarantining with COVID. It was frigid cold though. It was 34 degrees. My fingers were literally numb and in pain, chilled to the bone. But I got outside, I did some test footage. Really, I just parked my truck in my wife's car in the driveway at a little bit of an angle, and I did a bunch of flybys and, you know, completely manual flight test footage. I do recall already at this point that I think my white balance was set to something it shouldn't have been. And then also, like I said, it was completely manual flight. I didn't use any of the special flight modes, which I plan on getting into in the future, but this was completely manual stuff. My gimbal settings, I feel like we're a little bit off. I want to reduce the sensitivity of my gimbal a tad, and also maybe even the joystick some. You know, I got to figure that out still. I mean, again, this first flight ever as far as making real test videos. So here, I'll let you see some of the footage here. I'll put it together for you, and I'll talk briefly about why I'm here as far as this is concerned, and get some of this video. I guess I can talk about why, or how did I come to the conclusion of why this is for me. At work, I began flying a large Matrice 300 RTK. That's a $30,000 drone. It's absolutely amazing. The aircraft is huge. It's equipped with a H20T, which is the thermal triple camera. I mean, that thing is amazing, which has its completely own uses as far as search and rescue and commercial stuff. You know, really kind of corporate related type use. For that, I had to obtain my FAA Part 107 UAV commercial license, so I got that, and that's really what sparked my interest as far as pursuing aerial photography and video, because I did photos on the ground before all that. So like I said, we already talked about the previous drones I owned. They were completely random pieces of equipment, I guess you'd say, that I would get, and I would fly them for fun, recreationally, you know, whiz around, you know, nothing crazy. Really didn't take them seriously and did not try to. And my phone's ringing again. That's super freaking annoying. Alright, so one phone out of 2 off again. Where was I? Oh yeah, so I didn't take it seriously before. That was completely recreational. This I want to actually learn and take seriously, so that's why I'm doing this entire thing. I know we've kind of touched on it before. Again, right now, currently have a Inspire 1 Pro, a huge Inspire 1 Pro package with X5. I've got 2 X3 cameras and a Pro gimbal. I mean, the whole 9 yards, but the thing is ginormous. It's a pain in the butt. It's a great aircraft, no obstacle avoidance, great camera, but it's a pain, and the battery life is not great. So I'll make a full video on that in the future here. But you know, basically, it doesn't come outside with me. It's usually the Mavic 2 Pro that I grab if I'm going to go anywhere. Even if I don't use it, then guess what? I've still got it with me. It's not a pain in the rear end. So yeah, this is, like I said, this is some of the footage I did outside the front of my house. It's also going to be my first attempt at color grading some footage, and you know, like I said, it's just my truck, my wife's car, and did it real quick in the front of the house, so you can kind of put that together and see how it looks, and hopefully it looks good, and hopefully I can learn a lot. I guess we'll see once we get there, as far as usable video or not usable video. And it's going to be a little herky-jerky, I'll say this right now, because it was 20 mile per hour plus gusts of wind, and it was freezing cold. So I was proud of the Mavic. It held up really well as far as the conditions are concerned, but holy moly, that was a rough rough time outside. So couple things after flying the very first day. I know for sure I'm going to want to get a set of ND filters, probably a good set, because it was bright and sunny out for the first time, and it would have been nice to be able to drop that aperture down all the way to the bottom to get some little more cinematic shots out of the Mavic 2. To do that, I'd need an ND filter, so I'm definitely going to do that. Another thing that I think I need to obviously make sure I go through, and I'll have to double check the footage on this when I get into it, but I believe my white balance was still set on something funky, not sunny, so I need to do a custom white balance, keep it at a certain degree Kelvin, that doesn't make sense, at a certain Kelvin, or I just need to make sure I go in there and change it to a sunny white balance versus others. But I'm just kind of guessing here. It just kind of kicked in just now. So all of that being said, that was the video. Here's some cool little, I did a couple cool little film shots in the house with the Mavic 2, put some titles on it, I think, hopefully by now. You can see that. Hopefully they look cool. I might try to be able to slow them down or speed them up. I don't know. That's other stuff I'm learning currently with Final Cut. Basically, in conclusion, the Mavic 2 Pro is the drone I plan on doing the bulk of my learning with. I'm very impressed with it so far. The camera quality, the flight time, the overall build and size of the drone is absolutely amazing for what it's capable of. That's the reason why, and that's the drone as of today, which is the end of February, or getting close to the end of February in 2021, that I'm going to use to propel myself through this YouTube journey and to learn video editing, especially aerial photography and video. So again, like I said, I plan in the future to do a versus video between the Mavic 2 Pro and my Inspire 1 Pro, which I have currently, hopefully only temporarily because I want to sell it. But stay tuned for those videos, and I may do a video comparison. I'm not really sure, but we'll have a couple other videos to come in the future. Again, as always, I appreciate your time and attention. Much love to you all. Please, again, subscribe, like, and of course, as always, stay safe out there. Boop.